Today is September 3rd, and the Champions Operation is finally here in Halo Infinite, bringing with it a new refresh in the store which has 4 new sets of armor, an update to the exchange bringing back various old items, some more cross-core coatings which I'll talk about in a moment, alongside a new operation pass, and some new Firefight maps. But first of all, let's talk about that cross-core update. So basically, every promotional coating, such as things like Deathly Poison or Redshift, are now completely cross-core. This applies to armor coatings, vehicle coatings, and weapon coatings. So if there's any exclusive items that you had from a promo, such as the Pop Dolly Mongoose coating, that will now be available on all of your vehicles. I now have Deathly Poison, which means I actually have my color palette on all of my armor, which is amazing. I feel complete. Moving on from that, we have a brand new update to the exchange, and yes, the Ghost of Reach Haunted Helmet alongside its Abysmal Messenger attachment is still here, so you're not missing out on that. That is staying on the exchange for 75,000 Spartan points, so you can still grind out for that if you haven't unlocked it yet. Alongside that, this exchange update is mostly HCS themed. There's a couple of coatings that were originally drops, like the Gladiator's Edge, HCS Launch, the On-Track coating, Primal Glory, and you can now get these coatings on the exchange if you missed out on those Twitch drops. There's also some pieces of armor here, including the Gatekeeper shoulders for Yoroi, the Kabuto helmet, the SAP CDO shoulders for the Mark 5B, the Swordsman belt for Yoroi, the Everfilled Juzu chest attachment for Yoroi. Kabuto's helmet attachment is also here, and then there's a few things like emblems and backdrops. I will admit I'm a little disappointed that there isn't anything new on the exchange this update, no wrist attachments or utility pieces, not even like any small stuff or a new coating. That would have been really cool. Instead it is just old stuff, which is great, don't get me wrong. For people that missed out on these items, this is definitely a very beneficial update. And to be fair, there is a few things I hadn't unlocked originally that are here, like the Everfilled Juzu chest piece, which I did mention, and of course the Haunted Helmet, which I'm still yet to unlock, so I still have things to grind for personally, but it would have been nice to see a couple of new things here, especially considering all of the stuff that's available on the store, which is of course the next thing we're going to be talking about. Starting off with our first returning item, we have the D20 Weapon Charm. This costs 150 credits, and that's pretty much all I need to say about it. Next up, we have the return of the Yoroi Midnight Bundle. This is back for 400 credits and gives you the cross-core vehicle coating of the same name, the cross-core weapon coating of the same name, and also the Fireteam Colossus armor emblem, nameplate, weapon emblem, and vehicle emblem. Overall, not a terrible offer. The vehicle coating and weapon coating do look really nice, and this of course only costs 400 credits, which is a lot cheaper than its original price. Next up, we have the return of the Emil bundle. This costs 1,200 credits, which is quite a bit cheaper than its original price, but I do still think that's a bit too expensive for what you get here. You get the Unshackled Fury armor coating, as well as the Rosillo shoulder pads and the Emil helmet. This helmet is pretty cool, I do really like how it looks, but 1,200 for just a helmet, some shoulders, and a coating, I do think is pretty absurd, and personally, I would spend your credits on something better. The Level Up bundle is also back for 1,300 credits. This gives you the Retroed Aftermarket Mythic Effect set, and that's decent. You also get the Retroed Console Legendary Armor Effect. Now, these types of armor effects, personally, I'm not a huge fan of, the one that are just like holograms over your shoulders. This is kind of cool, but it's not something I'd ever see myself using. You also get the Retroed Emulator Kill Effect, which is pretty decent, as well as the Retroed Lockout Armor Effect. That's the one that gives you like the glasses for your spawn, the shades. You also get the Corpse Flower armor coating, which is definitely a bright one, and the Post-Mortem stance, which to be fair is pretty cool. And personally, I think that'd be the only thing from that bundle I'd use. But 1,300 credits for me is a little too pricey for what you get here. I don't actually think that pricing is bad, but I don't think bundles should include 2 armor effects, considering you can only use one on your Spartan at a time. I've said it before about this bundle, I'm pretty sure, but I would have released Retroed Lockout completely separately. Anyway, the next 2 returning bundles I think a lot of people will be excited about, as both of the 2022 and 2023 World Championship bundles have returned for a limited time, with the World Championship of course being just around the corner. First of all, we have the Halo World Championship 2023 bundle, and this gives you the Uppercut Chance armor coating for all of your cores, which is this pretty nice, like, sort of grey and red coating. I do quite like how this looks. And then you of course get the 2023 Victory Wings armor effect, which again is pretty cool. For 1,000 credits, there is definitely worse offers. I don't think this bundle is terrible, and of course I believe buying these Halo Championship bundles does actually directly support the teams, so if you do want to support your favorite teams, again, this is one of the best ways to do so. The 2022 Victory Bundle is also back, and this gives you the 2022 Victory Coating, which is this nice, like, grey metallic coating. I think it looks amazing. And you also get the Weapon Coating too. This one does feel a bit more basic in comparison, since most of the weapons are this sort of grey by default, so it just gives them a bit more of a metallic coat. But again, still pretty cool, and you do get the Victory Laurel's armor effect. And this is actually 200 credits cheaper than the 2023 bundle, only costing 800. Out of the two, I definitely prefer this one, but there is actually a brand new one, which is more expensive than both the others combined. The Halo World Championship 2024 Championship Bundle contains 10 items. First of all being the Sovereign Spear Helmet, of course being based on the Prophets. You also get the Sovereign Crest Helmet attachment, the Sovereign Host shoulder pads, and these look pretty cool. You get the Sovereign Badge chest attachment, which I do like, as well as the Sovereign Petal utility piece, the Sovereign Guard knee pads. Then you get the War Ravaged armor coating, which is this sort of grey, gold, and purple coating that's got a pretty interesting pattern on the tech suit. You also get the Solar Bandit weapon model for the Bandit rifle, which gives it this sort of like Forerunner appearance, and that is pretty cool. And then you get the Solar Winds weapon coating. 2,200 credits for this bundle, of course, is pretty ridiculous for one armor set and a weapon model. I do think the weapon model probably should have also been released separately too. Now, of course, again, the proceeds for this bundle directly support all of the HCS teams, which is pretty cool. However, 2,200 is of course very pricey, and although I think the armor is really cool, I know a lot of people are also getting very tired of the sort of Covenant and Banish themed stuff, but this will probably be one that I skip out on just because of how absurd the pricing is. And unfortunately, that won't be the last time I say that today, as our next bundle is the Mythic Magister bundle. Now, this set is pretty cool. It sort of blends like the Forerunner aesthetic with almost an Egyptian type look. You of course get the Magister helmet, which looks pretty cool. Then you get the Magister's Might helmet attachment, the Magister's Mantle shoulder pads, the Magister's Seal chest attachment, the Magister's Blade utility piece, the Magister's Locution wrist attachment, the Flesh and Blood armor coating, which is quite similar to the one we've just spoken about from the last bundle in terms of its overall design. But of course the coloration is completely different, and again this is a pretty cool coating. Then you get the 9 Bows BR, which gives the battle rifle a sort of Forerunner appearance. This looks pretty good. And then you get the Ambitious Pride weapon coating. Again, a really cool bundle with some really awesome looking armor. However, 2,200 credits is pretty ridiculous, and I'd be more inclined to just buy the weapon models if they were released separately for anywhere between like 500 to 800 credits. The next bundle is the Eyes of the Emperor bundle. And this is a bit cheaper, costing 1,800, which I do still think is a bit too pricey. However, definitely a better price than the last two bundles. But of course, this doesn't come with a weapon model. Instead, this comes with the Jin Garza helmet, which might look a bit familiar, as we've seen this helmet in an emblem that was released back in Season 1. You also get the Oni Mangu helmet attachment for the helmet, the Scented Clasp shoulder pads, the Warged Scales chest attachment, the Ichor Flask utility piece, the Lace Squared Wasp Shell wrist attachment, and the Silent Forest armor coating. Out of everything here, I think the armor coating is the thing I'm the least interested in, but overall this set is pretty cool. I'm not a huge fan of the helmet, although it is kind of like the Yoroi version of Scout, which is pretty interesting. And I do think the rest of the armor is really cool. I think it would go very well with the Yokai helmet, but again, 1,800, definitely pretty pricey. But then we have one final armor set to talk about, and that is Achilles. This one probably rings a few bells, as of course it was a very popular armor set back in Halo 5. And I already know a lot of people are of course going to be agitated over the fact that Achilles is only available in the store, and I'll talk about it in a moment. Anyway, in this bundle, you get the Achilles helmet alongside the Victor's Crest helmet attachment, the Achilles Pauldron shoulder pads, the Achilles breastplate chest attachment, the Achilles plate utility piece, and the Achilles protection wrist attachment, alongside the Burn Scar armor coating. This is pretty nice armor coating. But this bundle does cost 1,800 credits. Again, very pricey. I do not think it should cost any more than 1,200. And personally, I do believe, at least at a minimum, the Achilles helmet should have been available in the exchange, even if just like Haunted, it costs 75,000 spawn points. This helmet, of course, has quite a reputation. In fact, this whole armor set does, as it was very difficult to unlock in Halo 5. And although I don't personally care for the set too much, I never actually went through the grind of unlocking it in Halo 5. And although I like the set, I don't think it's a personal favourite of mine. I can definitely understand the agitation from fans seeing this set that was so hard to unlock in the last game, now just being put behind a paywall in the store, with no free alternative to, at a minimum, unlock the helmet. I do think Achilles, I think the helmet and maybe even the chest plate should have been available in the exchange, just make them cost a lot of Spartan points. The only other way to acquire Achilles is actually through a super bundle. This is the Heroic Legacy super bundle, which contains both the Achilles and Jin Garzit bundles. The super bundle costs 3,200 credits, which of course is still pretty damn pricey, and it does come with the Uncanny Energies Mythic Effect set. But I do think, out of all the sets that have released today, I probably won't be picking any of them up. I think overall my favourite of them is probably Mythic Majesty, but if I'm being completely honest, I'm quite content with the free armor that's available in the Champions Operation Pass, which is of course the next thing we're going to talk about. So of course, moving over to the new Champions Operation Pass, as usual there is a 500 credit purchase bonus, and once again it's actually a weapon model, this being the Revian Claw weapon model for the battle rifle that almost makes it look a bit more like the Reach DMR. Though I would not be surprised if it's just based on a piece of concept art that I'm not familiar with. There's also the Falling Flame weapon coating, which you do get alongside the weapon model. And overall, this is a solid purchase bonus and probably one that I will pick up. The first item you unlock in the Operation Pass is the Phoenix nameplate. Following on from that, you of course get a few Spartan points before getting the Emissary knee guards, more Spartan points before you get the Emissary belt. Then the next main piece of armor you unlock is the Emissary heart plate, followed by the Emissary pauldrons, and then finally you get the Emissary helmet and the War Master's Mandate helmet attachment. Overall, I think this armor set takes some inspiration from both Brutes and Elites, and I do think it is a pretty cool set of armor. As we've already mentioned, I know some people are definitely getting sick of the banished armor stuff, so hopefully this is the last operation based on that. But if that is the case, I will be content with it because I do think this set of armor is pretty decent overall, and the event, of course, has a nice purchase bonus. This is on for 34 days, so you have plenty of time to unlock the armor if you want to. And finally, there is a brand new playlist, which is the Firefight Battle for Reach playlist. This has various different maps, all either from Reach or based on things from Reach, being Gaia Fight, Powerhouse, Ardent Prayer, Refuge, Courtyard, and Lone Wolf. All of these are King of the Hill firefights except Ardent Prayer, which actually is labelled as Linear King of the Hill. I have no idea what the difference is there, as I'm yet to play it, but either way I am excited to try out these maps. I think the Forge have done an incredible job. Of course, Gaia Fight and Refuge aren't completely new, as they've been in matchmaking for a while, and some of these maps have of course been playable for a while through customs, but it's cool to finally see them in matchmaking. And it's of course very nice to see the Firefight playlist get some much needed love and to get some new maps added to it. Finally, we of course have this week's Spartans of the Week. For this week, the theme was actually suggested by Church in the Discord server, and that was to create Season 1 themed Spartans. Now, for the sake of variety, I of course still allowed cross-core, but you could only use Season 1 armor. And you all absolutely cooked once again, and there was 3 builds that stuck out for me. The first one being from Kamino. This Yuri spawn with the Season 1 phase clan coating looks surprisingly good, much better than I would have thought it would have. The next build is a nice tactical Mark 5 Zeta build from Johnny Tag. And finally, we have a spawn making use of those pre-order bonuses alongside a few other pieces from MChief711. Once again, I think you all did an incredible job given the theme this week. Of course, if you want the chance to be featured as Spawn of the Week or want the chance to suggest the theme, make sure to join the Discord. I'll leave a link to that in the pinned comment. Anyway, I believe that wraps up everything today. Let me know if you're enjoying the Champions Operation, if you've tried out the new Firefight playlist yet, and of course your thoughts on the store down in the comments. Thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next one.